All right, you guys, we finally made it. Made it back again. My name's Timothy Judkins. Welcome back to the Realty Resource Report, where we give you the latest real estate news, what's going on in the world, and the latest and greatest. I just like to do it, have to make it. So, to get you up to speed, I wish I did this earlier. I might even turn it up to being twice a week type of situation. I'm still balancing out how I want to go about such things. You know what I mean? But earlier this week, if you're following me and saw my page, the Remax brokerage went to the Cleveland Guardians game. Got my drink ticket. They were giving out drink tickets. I don't know if y'all knew that. I just dropped the ball on that. If agents didn't go, there was free drinks. Just a few, just a little bit. It was like, what, one or two. So this was only for one. So then you had to pay for the rest. You know how I go. Just get you in the door. But it was awesome. Awesome game. The Guardians won. So good time with good people. I went with my broker, Travis Broadwater. Shout out to him for the opportunity of getting us up there. That was awesome. Also, I kind of want to touch on a few other things. I'm trying to bring new topics, things to talk about on this broadcast and keep it building from there. So outside of the Cleveland Guardians game, I saw this one article that I came across from Visual Capitalist, and the information is from Realtor.com. On my post-production of these videos, I will be putting these images on screen for you to better look at. But on this sheet, it's showing that basically the home affordability in the U.S. based on the sales price of the homes and the medium household incomes that people are making. So come to find out, West Virginia is number one on this list. I'm not licensed there. I'm licensed in Ohio, disclaimer, but my primary office is in West Virginia. So that's sweet. And then the second runner-up to that is Ohio. Third place is Indiana. Fourth place is Michigan. Fifth place is Illinois. And then we have Pennsylvania. Oh, wait, Iowa's up here. Iowa, you'll see the sheet. But with that being said, we're in one of the few states that it's actually affordable to live a living wage, get a job, and afford a home simultaneously. I'm actually a huge fan of this. I tell a lot of my friends from Georgia, from California about this. I lived in Los Angeles for a few years. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia for a few years, and it's sweet here. The price is just, yes. And so what I mean by that is that this is one of the few areas that I have personally noticed that, how we say this? I've seen people work not crazy jobs, not like career jobs, not like they don't have these degrees, and you could work a side job or one or two jobs and literally afford. But that's not the gem. The biggest gem out of this is the fact that you can actually buy a house and a mortgage being the same exact rate as rent out here. Yes. So when I say that, and I run into people who are still renting, I hope that most of you get out of renting and you get into home ownership, because I know people who are paying more in rent than I'm paying for my home. And that hurts. And I don't know why you're doing that, because you should be transitioning. So you should be adding money to your equity, to the value of you and your family, instead of just giving it away via rental. But we could talk about that. Send me a message. I just have this sheet. I want to just talk to you guys about that. But Ohio, West Virginia, Michigan, Indiana, we are running things right now when it comes to price points and affordability. And that's what I'm saying. Don't get caught up in the rental thing, because you could get the same price for a rental as you get for a mortgage here in Ohio, specifically, depending on, price point of the house, X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm going to give my buyer tip and my seller tip for this video. Now, my buyer tip that I wanted to give for the day is, when you're going out and shopping for a home, I know you feel like it's weird when somebody asks you for a pre-approval, or should you have a pre-approval, or I'm just house shopping right now. I'm just window shop. I'm not even really taking it serious. I know I'm good for it though. Even if you're there, I get it. And it's cool to be there. But at the same time, some agents aren't actually going to take you serious until you have a pre-approval. And that's just, that's just a thing. And then the reason for that is because us as real estate agents, we do not get paid unless you get the keys. So if for some reason keys do not make it to your hand, then I don't get a paycheck. So with that being said, most agents, sorry, it's a spider web. So with that being said, most agents stick to clients who are going to be in a pre-approved situation that I know my time and energy put into you is going to be worth it. Okay. And I know that's weird to say. I know that's a weird way that it comes off. But at the end of the day, we are investing a lot of money, time, and energy for you up front before you buy. Okay. And so this is gas money, food, bills. Things are still happening in our personal lives, regardless if you have keys or not. And so that's a real thing. The other thing I would say for a buyer is to be flexible on where and when you want to be somewhere. That's a real thing. And then have a list of your must-haves. Do you need an island in the kitchen? Do you need a second bathroom? How many bedrooms do you need? These are the things you need to have in your mind and crystallize, so when you talk to agents and you start seeing options that are out here, you're not swayed on the new fancy object that just ran by you. Like, oh, wow, but I like drop ceilings now. That was crazy. So don't be that person. Know what you want, at least your bare minimums, and then build from there. Okay? That's my buyer tip for the day. For my seller tip, I love my sellers because this is what I love to do. I love to work with sellers because I like to throw all that marketing. I don't really get to do too much marketing for buyers. But in my seller world, seller tip of the day is please be realistic on the price point of what you're charging people for the home and what needs to be done relating to the home. Okay? What I mean by that is if you know you need a new water heater, if you know that there's something wrong with the bathroom, why are we trying to get top dollar on something you know for a fact is not in mint condition? We know these things need to be fixed. There's too many times that sellers are trying to sell a house to get out of this to get somewhere else because they know they have more equity, but then a repair job needs to come in and they don't want to play that game. They don't want to help fix. They might not have the money to fix. And if that's the case, that's completely fine. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's completely fine if you don't have the money to make these fixes happen, but at the same time, be realistic on being able to drop the price down or help in some way or form to get the job done. Because you don't want to buy a house when the bathroom's not working, and you don't want to buy a house if there's a hole in the ceiling. So we just got to be, putting yourself in the other person's shoes can help so much in all of these deals, buyer wise and seller wise. But that's my seller tip of the day is if you're going to sell a piece of property that you know has things wrong with it, we should price accordingly based on those things, not based on what the neighborhood's doing, not based on what Suey just, sold her house for down the street. We can't do that because her house was different than your house, right? So that's my seller tip for the day. Now, I did want to throw in some crypto, some XRP, some XLM, some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some digital currency, right? And when it comes to XRP and XLM, I'm a big advocate of cryptocurrency. I am not a financial advisor. Do not take my advice at all when it comes to finances. That is probably the worst idea for you to do. I'm just trying to help you actually buy and sell houses. I know those processes. But when it comes to this investing, though, it's very interesting because I just recently saw that both JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America have just done partnerships with XRP. And I do not know what that means. I do not know what that means for the financial world. I do not know what that means next time I'm at Walmart making a transaction. But what I do know is it's exciting. It's exciting. So very big changes in the crypto world. If you do not have expendable money, I wouldn't even play in that because it's very volatile. It's up and down every single day. Don't lose your head over it, and just do some research. I think it's cool. I think it's something to actually look into because I personally believe my kids are going to be very involved in these things. So as a father, I need to be on top of it before it comes into play. You know what I mean? So that's my little thing I wanted to say about crypto. Now, every time I get on here, I'm going to plug the team, Remax Broadwater over there, right? And so I have a few listings I want you to check out. Same thing on the post-production of this video. I will have the images full screen so that you can see what's going on. But we have a few properties for sale that I thought were super sweet. So I want you to check them out real quick. The first one is 48828 Carmen Road, right? Bow, bow, bow. This was in Hopedale. That's $150,000 for that one. Listed by my guy Garrison Wolf. That is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath for $150. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. The prices. Now the next one I have is 280 Jersey Drive in Moundsville, West Virginia. Disclaimer as usual, I am not licensed in West Virginia, but this one is listed by Ida Boone, and I'm gonna tell you that's a 3-bedroom, 5-bath. What are you doing, Ida? That is huge. That is 3,000 square feet. Okay, that exists. That house exists. The next one I have is 32701 Gundy Ridge Road. This is out towards Tappan Lake. I filmed this one. This one was nice. This is a nice one. And this one is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. You know, get your expansion on. You got a big family. Spread your wings a little bit. The next one I got for you is 47423 Centerville in Jacobsburg, Ohio. This one's listed by Taylor, right? And this is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. We got space out here. We have space. And that's on a 1/2 acre. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The next one I have is 46540 East Capita Highway. I went and took shots of this one too. This one is crazy nice. The land and the space that comes with it. That's what I thought. It's 4.8 acres. 4.8. Space is what we're looking for. This is what we have in the valley. We have space. And that's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Too much space for me. And then the next one is 5180 Pine Valley Drive in Zanesville. Been here a few times. This is sweet. This one is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet. That's just on the bottom. 1,000 square feet on the bottom, 4,000 square feet total. Homes are for sale. They are for sale here in Ohio and West Virginia. If you have any questions about buying and selling in that entire process, I would love to help you. We can have a conversation. And as much as I want to stay here all day and chit chat with you and the team, I have a few things I got to get back to. I have an extension I have to put together. I have another deal I got to sew up as well. I got documents to send to my sellers. And if you would like to know more information about how we go about the process at Remax, I would love to talk to you about that. If you're looking into becoming an agent and want to be in the real estate business, we can have that conversation too. I mean, there's plenty of things to do around this place. I had to get my little Remax sip one time. We worldwide, baby. Worldwide. So until next time, I'll see you guys soon.